Well, folks, we're here in Ottawa, Ontario at Hobby House, one of my favorite hobby stores, and we're here to buy the second 210-2 because you guys convinced me. A lot of support for that. So, we'll go in and get one. Well, I'm now back home, and here's the Locomotive. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I mean, I'm already kind of familiar with it since I already own one of them. But I'm really happy I got a second one. I mean, they're just such cool locomotives, and the old Mehano engines, they really last quite a long time. They were made very well. It really is unfortunate that they went out of business because they probably made some of the best steam locomotives out there, in my opinion. Great blend of quality and price. Anyway, we're going to take it out of the packaging. I know some of you guys are probably thinking this is pretty strange packaging. The reason it doesn't come in a box is because this was actually sold in a train set way back when. Around the late 90s to mid 2000s, a local grocery store chain in here in Canada called President's Choice basically sold these locomotives in its train sets. They contracted Mehano to make them. So a lot of these were made in that time, and the locomotives were the best part of the train sets. The rest of the stuff was kind of mediocre. So what a lot of shops have been doing is they cut the locomotives out of the train sets and they sell them individually because they're more valuable than the sets now. Anyway, we're going to take it out here. I'm going to take out the tender first because the packaging's a little bit damaged. And now here is the beautiful 210-2 Locomotive. Yeah, it really looks great. So anyway, there it all is. Very nice. So yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, why don't we take it over to the track and give her a test run. Alright, so we've got her all set up on the track, so we're going to give her some power here. And yeah, there she goes, firing to life. Wonderful thing about these old Mehano engines is since they were designed to run on train sets, they're very good on almost all radiuses of curves. Even when I was running 18 radius curves on this layout, the 210-2, my first one, didn't struggle whatsoever. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see, this one's running very smooth. Right here too, just how efficient these locomotives are. Even though they're all over 10 years old, the motors are still in really good shape. Alright, so I'm pretty impressed with the performance of this locomotive on its track test, so I want to do something a little bit more wild now. I want to double head it with the other 210-2 I already have. But before we get around to doing that, we need to do a little bit of work on it because it's still got some of its early 2000s train set facade, so yeah, we're going to need to do a little bit of upgrading, but that won't be a problem. Alright, so this shouldn't be too difficult. We'll just get our locomotive there, and just got a Phillips head right there, and we'll take off, there's like a screw right here, and the whole thing just lifts out. Little coupler, horn hook coupler out, and I'm going to be replacing with this Bachmann Easy Make coupler, because I actually really like the Bachmann couplers. They're just nice and sort of loose, so I find they allow trains to corner quite well. They don't last the longest, but they work well while they're around. And just like that, the new knuckle coupler is installed. So let's get them both on the track. Alright, so we've got them both set up on the track here. We've got the newer one up front and the older one in the back. Before we go connecting these things up to double head them, we're just going to do some speed testing to see how speed matched they are. And we'll find out. As you can see, the gap is pretty much remaining the same. It's widening a little bit, so the newer one's a tiny bit faster, but not by a big margin. So since it's faster, that one will be the lead locomotive. So anyway, we'll just bring them back around here, and we'll connect them both up. Unfortunately, we've run into a bit of a problem, which is that the coupler on both of these locomotives, the front one is just a cosmetic coupler. It's not meant to be attached to, so that's a bit of an issue, but I'm just gonna kind of slide the coupler over, and this is a bit of a no-no, but it will work fine. Okay, so I think when you have this much motive power, there's really only one responsible thing to do, which is to, of course, build a ridiculously long train to match it. Alright, so we've got them both set up with a moderately long train. I mean, I think by most railroader standards, this is definitely not the longest trains, but it's good enough. I'm happy with it. Anyway, let's try running the whole thing. Well, folks, I'm really happy with the new locomotive. I think it's a great addition to the collection. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching.